Hi students, this is K. Mujakar, lecturer in commerce. In previous video, we have discussed about the introduction to the foreign exchange exposure and the types of exposure in brief. But in today's video, we can discuss about the transaction exposure and what are the techniques or how to manage the transaction exposure. We can discuss in this video in depth. And one request, my dear students, friends, watch my video till end, then only we can understand what is regarding the transaction exposure and what are its hedging techniques, how to manage such type of risk. Before going to discuss, till now who have not yet subscribed my channel, please subscribe my channel in order to get updates, my dear students. Another thing, one thing, before discussing the topic, this type of foreign exchange exposure is very important topic in UGC net exams as well as in AP's let exams as well as some type of this type of related exams. And I'm also discussing a international financial management concepts also regarding the international monetary system and its evolution and also structure of the foreign exchange market, all this concept. So you can watch in my channel. If you need further videos regarding the international financial management, please go through my channel and watch the videos which you have doubtful. Okay, here before going to transaction exposure, I have already said to you what is exposure, how to minimize it. Okay, however, I have said in brief in a previous video in types of exposure also. However, we can discuss again here also. Then I'll move into the techniques of the managing of transaction exposure. Here, transaction exposure. First of all, I'll say the definition, then move into this descriptive part. Okay, here transaction exposure means nothing but transaction exposure is defined as a type of foreign exchange risk faced by companies that exchange in international trade exist in any worldwide market. Say here again, I am telling that transaction exposure is defined as a type of foreign exchange risk. Nothing but it is also a one of the type of foreign exchange risk. It is faced by the companies. Why they are facing such type of foreign exchange risk by such companies means why? Because they are engaging in the international trade, nothing but international business regarding the exports and imports. In such situations, while transactions or while dealing such type, automatically there may be a involved a certain type of risk. That type of risk is only known as transaction exposure. That is he is saying it is exposure, nothing but it is a type of foreign exchange risk faced by the companies that exchange or that engage in the international trade exist in any worldwide market, not only in Indian countries, it is in applicable in anywhere, or transactions made in global level or in any worldwide market also. It is the risk management. It is the risk management, or it is the risk that exchange rate fluctuations will change the value of the contract before it is settled. I have already said that there will be a exchange rate fluctuations will change in the value of the contract before it is settled. Before it is settled, that is nothing but here I have already said that. Why I am saying that is, we This type of risk, exchange rate fluctuations, will change the value of contract before it is settled, not after settlement. Before its settlement, its value changes. It means it exchange rate fluctuations will changes the value of the contract. Means I have already said to you that here nothing but it is nothing but a potential changes. Transaction exposure means nothing but the potential changes in the value of the contractual cash flows. I've already explained in previous video what is meant by contractual cash flows. Means nothing but it may be a cash inflows or outflows which has a think for example any bond which has a maturity period of 5 years, but its value has been set, it has been reset in every 6 to 6 months, every 6 to 6 months. It means there is a contractual cash flows here. Same here also, nothing but this value will be changes. Say for example for the 6 to 6 months, but before its settlement its value has been frequently changes. Why? Because there is a, this is called as an transaction exposure. Here it potential changes in the value of contractual cash flows are monetary assets and liabilities. I have already said to you monetary assets and liabilities in previous video. It means it is nothing but which any assets, any type of assets like investments, account receivable, whatever type of assets which has been converted into a cash within a short period, within a short period. But in case of real operating exposure means nothing but here the it deals with the non-monetary asset. It means that type of non-monetary asset will not change into a cash within a short period of time. That is meant by transaction exposure. Here the risk that foreign exchange rate changes will adversely affect the cross currency transactions. Cross currency transactions means nothing but the foreign currency transactions before it is settled can occur in the it can be it occurs not only in developed countries, it also shows its impact on also a developing countries also. In say to one word, a transactions or a dealing in any from any country to country across the global world, there will if any such type of risk occurs, then we called it as transaction exposure. We called it as transaction exposure. Okay, here transaction. Now we can come to this descriptive part. Now it's before that I have explained what is meant by transaction exposure. Now I will explain this descriptive part which I have mentioned in screen, which I have mentioned in my screen. What's that? Here transaction exposure means measures changes in the value of outstanding financial obligations incurred prior to change in exchange rates but not due to settled until the after exchange rates changes. That only I have said. Whatever it may be, the changes occurs before settlement. Before settlement only, not after the exchange rate changes. Exchange rate changes. Here it is the common practices. Here it is the common practice for many business entity, particularly MNC, to enter into a foreign currency denominated currency. We know that particularly MNC enter into a foreign currency. It means denominated transactions. There are a number of multiple currencies are there. For example, each country has each currency. Like this, whenever a multinational company deals through global world, in such situations, automatically there will be a number of denominated transactions which are in terms of the foreign currency. All such type of currency we called it as just in one word, we called it as foreign currency. That only is saying these transactions may involve, it may be future cash inflows or cash outflows, whatever it may be in a foreign currency only. Say for example I am dealing with the United States In such situations, it may be denominated in the foreign currency like US dollars, like US dollars, or say for example Japanese yens or a Swiss francs currency, like this. Okay, this any change in the exchange rate between a time a transaction is initiated and the time a transaction and time the transaction is settled in home currency thus affects the cash inflows and cash outflows. Say he is saying any change in the exchange rate between a time a transaction is initiated and the time transaction. He's saying he's explaining about the between a time means before settlement is transaction is initiated and the time transaction is settled in home currency, automatically it affects the cash inflows and outflows. Nothing but it is a contractual cash inflows or contractual cash outflows in home currency terms. Transaction exposure refers to the potential changes. See here, he is saying transaction exposure refers to the potential changes in the value of contractual cash flows that arises due to unexpected changes in the foreign exchange rate. It is the measure of sensitivity of the home currency value of assets and liabilities in foreign currency. Why? Because into any unanticipated changes has been occurred in exchange rates. Here, a firm is subjected to a transaction exposure when it has a monetary items, not a non-monetary items. See, here transaction exposure always there will be a monetary assets and liabilities only. Only in case of operating exposure, there will be a non-monetary assets and liabilities. That only is saying a firm is subject to transaction exposure when it has a monetary items whose values are contractually fixed in foreign currencies and do not change with exchange rate. The monetary items of a firm such as receivables, payables denominated in different foreign currencies are exposed to changes in the respective foreign exchange rates. Okay, in order to effective understanding of the transaction exposure, we can discuss a brief example here. Then it will be still more effective to you. Okay, here transaction exposure also arises when a firm think that any firm, it may be A firm or B firm, borrows or lends in a foreign currency. Okay, they are borrowing in a foreign currency in terms of foreign currency. For instance, consider a firm in India. A firm in India, what they are doing means they are borrowing a 1 million US dollars from a firm in a New York for 3 years. See here, a Indian firm is borrowing a funds of US dollars 1 million US dollars from a firm in New York, which is in New York for 3 years. During the period, if the US dollars appreciates against the Indian rupee, it means, for example, we know that now, for example, 1 US dollars is used is equals to approximately like 72 rupees or 70 rupees. If it is has been appreciated, it means our Indian value currency has been decreased, the value of US dollars has been increased or appreciated, say for 80 rupees, like this. Then answer situations, what will happen we can see. During this period, if the US dollars appreciates against the Indian rupee, the borrower will have a greater burden in terms of the Indian rupees, is it not? When there is an appreciation of the US dollars, automatically there will be a greater burden in terms of Indian rupees. Why? Because there will be a huge amount of 1 million US dollars. Conversely, if the foreign currency depreciate, the borrower will have a lower burden. Yeah, of course, this is also we know that. If there is an appreciation in foreign currency, automatically Indian rupee, Indian country, there will be a more burden. But in opposite case, when the foreign currency depreciates, the borrower will have a lower burden in terms of home currency. Home currency. Okay, in one way. In other way, we can see here. In India, who sent, who has lent a certain amount in US dollars to a firm in the United States may experience a gain or losses in terms of home currency. See that in the same way a lender in India, in the same way, a lender in India who has lent a certain amount in US dollars to a firm in the United States may experience a gain or loss in terms of home currency as a consequence of appreciation or depreciation of the US dollar. Same in United States also has been occurred the same situation again. Same situation. Why? Because of appreciation or depreciation. Thus, whenever a firm has foreign currency denominated contractual cash flows like monetary assets and monetary liabilities, it is subject to transaction exposure. Depending upon the net monetary assets position, monetary assets less monetary liabilities. Here we are deducting, and also the direction of exchange rate changes, the firm may experience the net gain or net loss. However, we should know no whenever there is an deduction only we can know. For example, we know that in profit and loss account, we are preparing a profit and loss account in balance sheet, no, in accounts. In such situations, if there is an if we prepare, if we prepare, we know that profit or loss here also same. If we from monetary assets, if we deduct only monetary liabilities, then we can know it may be there is a gain or loss. For example, there will be more monetary liabilities, we get losses. There is a more monetary assets, we have profits. Many firms, many firms generally have a financial contracts. See here, many firms generally have financial contracts denominated in foreign currency. Yeah, we know that all any company or global level companies or MNC companies generally have financial contracts that also denominated in foreign currency. The number of such firms has increased phenomenally in recent years as a result of globalization. Why? Because this number of such firms, why it has been increased? Due to the result of the globalization. Globalization, we know that LPG concept has been introduced in the 1991 by the finance minister Manmohan Singh as well as PV Narasimha Rao, who was the prime minister in July 1991. They have given the chance to the liberalization, privatization and globalization. Okay, therefore firms should manage the transaction exposure. How means by judicially by adopting a appropriate techniques or strategies. Yeah, now itself we have discussing, isn't it? There is an happening such type of risk due to dealing of such companies in global level. At such times, there occurs a gain or loss. Gain or loss. Why? Because this appreciation or depreciation of currency. Okay, how to minimize such type of risk? How to minimize such type of risk in order to gain the more profits means there are some techniques. There are some techniques in order to hedging. Hedging means nothing but minimizing. What are such techniques? We can discuss in below. Okay, there are many techniques by which firms can manage their transaction exposure. These techniques can be broadly divided into hedging techniques and operational techniques. Hedging refers to an offsetting position, means it is taking a position in order to lock in the home currency value of the currency exposure. Why? Because they are eliminating the risk arising from changes in the exchange rate. The important hedging techniques are forward contracts, future contracts, money market hedges, options and swaps, and operational techniques includes exposure netting, leading and lagging, and currency of invoicing. My dear students, the operational techniques, the operational techniques include exposure netting, leading, lagging, and currency of invoicing. I will discuss in next video. In today's video we can discuss about the techniques, hedging techniques of forwards and futures, money market hedges and options and swaps. Okay, another thing my dear students important to you, if you learn these forwards and futures and money market concepts, it is very important. Why? Because these hedging techniques are there now, forwards and futures, money market hedge and swaps and option contracts. It is the terms of the financial derivatives also, financial derivatives concepts also. Okay, if you learn from international financial management, it will be who are students studying like MCOM post graduation students. When you are in a third sem, uh, next sem, or according to the such universities who have the financial derivative subject, will helpful this type of concepts in brief also. Other thing, for regarding the forwards and futures money market and swaps options also, many times in UGC net exams and SLET exams has been asked such type of questions. Okay, operational techniques we can learn in the next video, my dear students. Okay, here see, we can see how to manage transaction exposure. Transaction exposure, now only I have said that we can manage with this. Okay, what is the first technique? What is the first technique here? Hedging with forwards and futures. Hedging with forwards and futures. First of all, before discussing this theory part, I will explain what is meant by forwards and what is meant by futures. Then move on to this descriptive part. My dear students, one thing to you, one advisable. What I am saying, which is here screen, you can note down the important key points, but which are the key points which I am saying, please note down. Why? Because it will be more helpful to you. Okay, first of all I will explain, then move into this screening part. Okay, here forward contract is nothing but a forward contract. It is an agreed agreement between, a forward contract is nothing but an agreement between. First of all you should know the meaning of what is meant by forward contracts and future contracts. Then we can discuss how to minimize and how to hedging with forwards and future contracts. Here, forward contract is an agreement between parties to sell or buy the underlying asset. It may be any type of asset. It is nothing but an agreement between two parties in order to buy or sell the underlying asset at a specified date and agreed date in future. They are discussing to buy or sell of any underlying asset at particular date and as well as in future. Okay, it is an tailor-made contract, my dear students. It is an just like a, there is no any standardized rules and regulations here in forward contract. There is no any standardized rules and regulations or a particular procedure. It is a tailor-made contract. Here there will be a no secondary market. One thing, my dear students, I'll tell you again one competitive bit here. Many times asked what is the differences between forwards and future contracts means, in forward contract there will be no trade in the, or it is a over the counter market. Forward contract is traded on the over the counter market. It means there is no secondary market. We know that secondary market is a part of the capital market. Capital market is classified into two types, primary market and secondary market. It is a part of the financial markets and services also. Primary market means nothing but new issue market. Secondary market means existing. It is nothing but existing. Okay, here forward market is have done, it doesn't deal in stock exchanges. And here also there is no, it is the tailor made contract, no. So it is, they will fix it, there will be a, there is no here particular maturity date so on, so compulsory, there is no here such type of restrictions. So there is involvement of high risk also in forward contracts. And also one thing I have to say, in just to say it is nothing but a private agreement. There is a chances of default of relatively high risk. And here there is not required any collateral. It means additional security. Here in forward contracts there is no need of required any additional security, but the maturity period as per the terms of contract decided by either buyer or seller in an agreement, and it is also a self regulated one. It is a self-regulated man. There is no any regulations of the stock exchanges in the forward contracts. Okay, now we have know the meaning of the forward contracts. It is nothing but the tailor-made contract. No involvement of a secondary market. There will be a some type of maturity date which they have discussed in an agreement, which they have discussed in the agreement as per. But one thing, with the risk is very high. Okay, now we can discuss about the futures contract. Futures contract is nothing but it is a contract in which the parties to a agreement exchanges the assets for a cash. They are the parties, whether it may be A, B, they are exchanging according to the agreement. They are exchanging the assets for a cash at a fixed price and at a future specified date. At a future specified date, they will fix it. Say for example, January to March, like this 3 months period, 6 months period, or 9 months period. According to the agreement, they will fix a specified date, is known as future contracts. It is a standardized contract. It means in future contracts there will be a standardized rules and regulations. Definitely we should follow. But in forward contracts there is no such type. Another thing, it is traded on stock exchanges only. It is traded on stock exchanges only. And another thing here, in futures contract, there is a settlement on daily basis. Why? Because stock exchanges, no, there is be a 24 into 7. There will be a 24 into 7 stock market. So here futures contract, there will be settlement on daily basis, but there is no such type of chances in forward market. Why? Due to this type of settlement, there will be a low risk when compared to the forward market. And also the it has been regulations by the SEBI. There will be a SEBI guidelines to you in order to protect the interest of the investors. Okay, my dear students, these are all points noted. Now I'll see how to hedging with forwards and futures. Here, forward contract is legally enforceable agreement to buy and sell and certain amount of foreign currency on a specified date at an exchange rate fixed at the time of entering the contract. Okay, now I have explained the definition about it. See here how the firms may hedge. How the firms may hedge. Firms may hedge their transaction exposure by entering to forward contracts. That is, a firm may buy or sell the foreign currency forward and thereby avoid fluctuations in the home currency value of the foreign currency. Say they are firm may buy or sell the foreign currency forward items. Why? Because in order to avoid the fluctuations, means any changes like ups and downs in the home currency value of the foreign currency denominated in the fixed future cash flows. We can see here some example. It will be more effective. For example, assume an Indian trader has a 3 month receivables of 1 million US dollars. Okay, he has a 3 month receivables of 1 million US dollars. In order to eliminate the currency risk, the trader signed a forward contract with a bank. Okay, in order to eliminate, what he have done, he signed a forward contract with one bank. It may be any commercial bank. Okay, which agrees to buy or think that like foreign currencies or a Exim bank or whatever it may be. He signed a forward contract with a particular bank which agrees to buy that amount in 3 months at a forward rate of Indian rupees 40s. Now present rate. Now present rate means, just I have given here the example. Now the present rate is, take that, consider it as 72 rupees or 70 rupees. The current spot rate of Indian rupees is here, just here, saying that current spot rate of 1 US dollars is 39.75, but he agrees to buy in 3 months. He's saying that at a forward rate is 40 rupees. It means approximately increasing of 0.25, isn't it? But this 0.25 is increased after the 3 months, but before Current spot rate is 39.75. By entering the forward contract, the Indian trader has fixed the Indian rupees value of 3-month receivables regardless of what happens to the exchange rate in the future. The trader would get Indian rupees of 40 millions on the realization of his receivables. In other words, the Indian trader has effectively transformed the foreign currency denominated assets receivable into foreign currency denominated assets, as we have discussed in the. Okay, still some more concepts I will discuss in further videos also, just according to the example where I have said it here. The forward rate typically reflects the current spot rate plus the interest, nothing but 39.75 plus 0.25, the interest differential between two currencies involved. See here, nothing but here the trader would get the Indian rupees of 14 million on the realization of his receivables. In other words, the Indian trader has effectively transformed the foreign currency denominated asset receivables into foreign currency. That means here transformed in terms of US dollars to in terms of home currency, say our country currency Indian rupees. That only he is saying, he has converted such type of US dollars in amount into Indian rupees, that is 40 million rupees. Okay, another thing he is saying that a firm's decision on hedging, a firm's decision on hedging or not hedging, it may be risk minimization or not minimization, depends upon the three considerations. It means what we can say here. The first one is real cost of hedging. Next one is anticipated absolute gains and losses that are most likely to arise from hedging. Next one is the expected transaction cost. The expected transaction cost we can discuss in depth here. The preceding analysis suggests that the firm has to be decide whether or not to hedge by taking into the consideration how they are. They first of all they should take a analysis and they should suggest the firm whether we have to hedge or not. How means by taking into the consideration the differences between home currency unit of a foreign currency to be received or paid. That is with hedging, that is forward rate denoted in, think that it is just a forward rate is denoted in FT and the home currency unit of foreign currency to be received paid without hedging. That is the future spot rate denoted by ST. Future spot rate means nothing but it is denoted by the ST. So what is relevant in this analysis? Not in the current spot rate but the future spot rate. We have to make that differences. Anticipated spot rate in the time of maturity of the forward contract. It means before itself, say for example whether there will be a 3 months contract or 6 months contract, we should before itself we should anticipate a spot rate at the time of maturity of the forward contracts. In other words, the firm has to take into consideration ex ante or pre-event values before itself, pre-event values, but not the ex post after the event. Already I have said no. Transaction exposure means nothing but it is an exposure which the changes has been occurred before the settlement, not after the settlement. So he is also saying the same point here, but it is saying that the firm, in other words, the firm has to take into consideration the X event. It means nothing but the pre-event values, but not the X post after the event rates of the foreign exchange. However, the gains or losses from hedging will be known only after X post, of course. But we know why, because it is the procedure of the transaction exposure. It is the procedure of the transaction exposure before the settlement. But however we know that the gains or losses will know after the exposed only, isn't it? After the, say for example, after the 5 years maturity only, no, we know whether it has been gain or loss. But we doesn't know before settlement, we doesn't know the profit or loss. That only is saying it is one of the preceding analysis. It means taking the before itself preceding analysis suggests that the firm has to decide whether it has to hedge or not by taking into the following consideration, that is the difference between home currency as well as foreign currency to be received or paid. It may be received cash inflows or cash outflows. Cash inflows or cash outflows. That is with the hedging forward rate as well as that is here. See here, I am marking to you the difference between the home currency of unit of the foreign currency to be received or paid with the hedging, that is forward rate. That is, it is denoted by the EFT. It is denoted by the EFT, and the home currency per unit of foreign currency to be received or paid without hedging. Without hedging. One times with hedging or other times without hedging. Or but one thing, if they are hedging or not to hedging, they have to make a preceding analysis, and after preceding analysis they have to give a suggest to the firm. They, before that, they are taking into a consideration the difference between home currency as well as the foreign currency, that is with a one time with hedging as well as without hedging. So what is the relevant analysis? In not the current spot rate but the future spot rate, anticipated spot rate at the time of maturity of the forward contract. That only is saying, before itself we doesn't know, but after the post event only we can know the gains or losses. That is saying in the real cost of hedging. Here real cost of hedging it is shown in the percentage terms, like when comparing, see here formula, forward rate minus ft minus st divided by st. Here already he said that st means nothing but the home currency per unit of the foreign currency to be received or paid without hedging, that is nothing but the future spot rate. Here ft means forward rate, st means future spot rate, future spot rate, that is here divided by spot rate. It is anticipated that foreign currency will strengthen during the period of the forward contract. The real cost of hedging receivables will become a positive. It means the firm will receive lower amount of home currency by hedging, and therefore hedging of receivables is not preferred. For example, if they prefer that hedging, think that the firm in before its analysis they have chosen the hedging receivables, then automatically it will become positive. It means there will be the firm would receive a lower amount of home currency by hedging, and therefore hedging of receivable, in some cases hedging of receivables is not preferred. Means in such situations, at the same time the real cost of hedging payables will become negative with the anticipated appreciation of the foreign currency. The burden of payables in domestic country may become lower by not hedging in the foreign currency is more likely to appreciate over the maturity period of the forward contract. See here saying, if we follow the hedging technique, automatically it means, what is the main motto of this real cost hedging means? I said before itself, no. If we hedge, it means if we follow the hedging technique means, if say for example, if any anticipated changes or any fluctuations has been occurred in exchange rate. For example, I have said no before itself, if there is an appreciation in the currency, then automatically we get losses and it is burden to the Indian currency. If there is or if there is in order to have no burden, if there is should not be any no burden in such situations automatically we should hedge the technique. One thing here means, if we hedge means, if you follow the technique or if you try to minimize the risk means, automatically there will be a less burden to our home currency, to our country. If it doesn't hedge means, automatically there will be a high burden to them. It means the foreign currency will be appreciate, our home currency value will be down, then it is very burden to that. So here, in order to identify the gains or losses, there will be some formula, that is here forward minus spot rate into how much of amount of involved in the transactions. With this we can know the gains or losses. See here fn means nothing but forward rate, n means maturity, at a time. ST means future spot rate at time. Okay, if the say that here, if the future spot rate is lower than the forward rate, the foreign currency is that a forward premium. Then the firm will gain on the sale of foreign currency forward. See here, if the future spot rate, it means before after 3 months, say for example, after 3 months, the foreign there is in lower than the forward rate. If the future spot rate is lower than the forward rate means then automatically the firm will gain the sale of foreign currency forward. Conversely, the firm will gain on buying the foreign currency forward when the future forward is higher than the forward rate. The foreign currency is at forward discount. If there is an vice versa, automatically there will be a forward discount. Further, the risk perception and risk aversion of the firm may also influence the decision of whether or not to hedge a particular transaction exposure. Here, based on that decision, they will take whether or not to hedge a particular transaction exposure. That only. Further, more the risk perception and risk aversion of the firm may also influence the decision of their. Further, there is an more risk, then automatically they will decide whether have to hedge or not to hedge. A firm that is more risk may hedge over every transaction exposure, and a firm that is less risk, they leave some of its foreign transaction. It means unhedged. If the forward rate is unbiased predictor of the future spot rate, the hedging of transaction exposure may become superfluous. Next factor is transaction cost. Factor is transaction cost. In the previous analysis, it is assumed that there are no transaction cost. In reality, however, transaction costs do exist, and therefore firms should have taken into consideration. Like further, the bid ask spread in the forward market is generally wider than in the spot market. The depth of the two markets, they are taking the depth of the two markets. It means forward and future spot market. The depth of the two market, also the maturity period on the forward market, generally govern the differences in the spread between the two markets. Then only we can know. The larger spread in the forward markets, see here, I am marking you. The larger the spread in the forward market as compared to the spot market can be considered as a cost of forward hedge, the benefit of which is certainty of the home currency value of the foreign currency denominated in assets and liabilities. Here, the larger spread in the forward rate market as compared to the spot market can be considered the cost of the forward hedge. There will be the benefit of which it is certainty of the home currency value of the foreign currency denominated in asset and liabilities. Or if as forwards and futures may have common characteristics like hedging the foreign currency exposure with currency futures is similar to the hedging exposure with forward contract. They have saying that some of the common characteristics hedging with foreign exchange exposure with currency futures is similar to the hedging exposure with forward contracts. It means. Next one is money market. Here, first of all, we should know what is meant by money market. Money market is means nothing but it is a part of the financial markets and services. Here, money market means nothing but it is a market which has its maturity period 1 year or less than 1 year. We know that its components like call money market, commercial bills, collateral securities market, certificates of deposits, like this, isn't it? Okay, here we can see how to minimize this money market hedging. We can know here. It is also one of the technique in order to money market hedging. For it is a technique for hedging of the foreign exchange risk. It means by using this, they use in order to they will reduce their risk. Still, some of the components like treasury bills also. Okay, here a firm can lock. Here we can see how they lock. A firm can lock in the firm currency value of the future cash flows. It means inflows or outflows in the foreign currency through a money market hedging. It means here money market hedging involves a same here also. Same here also there will be a involvement like simultaneous borrowing and lending in the investing. Hedging involves simultaneous borrowing or lending. I said no, they are borrowing before itself is from the New York, like this here also involves borrowing and lending or investing, or it may be borrowing or investing in the money market. What is the main aim is in order to avoid the whatever it may be. We are discussing it may be forwards and future contract concept also, or in regarding the money market. Main aim is in order to reduce the exposure. That is the main concept of our. That is with regard to the receivables or payables. A firm wanted to hedge foreign exchange exposure on receivables or payables. Here they may here a firm that wants to hedge foreign currency exposure, thinking that any firm, say for example a firm, they want to hedging what they want to hedging foreign exchange exposure on based on the receivables or payables, may borrow or lend foreign currency in the money market so that its assets and liabilities in the same currency will match items. Only firms that have access to the international money market can use this type of hedging effectively. Here he is saying only only the firms who are dealing in the international money market at the global level, then only they can use this type of hedging technique in order to minimize the risk. Any restrictions on the borrowing or lending in the foreign currency may limit the use of this technique. Say for example any restrictions on the borrowing, say for example instead of $10 million I have to take 100 million US dollars. In such situations there is a beyond the limit, no. So if such situations any risk it has been occurred means, then automatically they can use this limit of this technique in order to reduce the risk. Nevertheless, money market hedging is particularly used for the cash flows in currencies for which there are no forward contracts. Why? Because here there will be no forward contracts. Why? Because we are dealing with money market hedging. Here he is saying that here he is saying that there is a direct relation between money market hedging and forward contract hedging. How we can see here, money market hedging creates homemade. Here I am saying no here. Nevertheless, money market hedging is particularly used for cash flows in currency for which there are no forward contracts. Which means there is a definitely there is a relation here saying that there is a direct relation between hedging and forward contract. How we can see here, money market hedging creates homemade forward contract hedging. Borrowing at the home currency interest rate and investing at the foreign currency interest rate are similar to hedge the foreign currency payables within the purchase of foreign currency forwards. On the other hand, borrowing at the foreign currency interest rate and the investing at the home currency interest rate are akin to the hedging of foreign currency receivables with the sales of foreign currency forwards. Foreign currency forwards, it is nothing but in fact money market hedging creates what they are creating means homemade forward contract hedging. Borrowing at the home currency interest rate, they are borrowing at the home currency interest rate and they are investing at the foreign currency interest rate. See that they are borrowing in the Indian rupees and investing in the foreign currency interest rate are similar to the hedging foreign currency payables within the purchase. Why? Because it is the concept of the purchases, not for sales. It is the concept of the purchases. On the other hand, borrowing at the foreign currency interest rate and investing at the home currency, here see that on the other hand borrowing on the, of the here they have borrowed in the home currency. Here they are borrowing in the foreign currency interest rate and they are investing in the home currency. It is opposite to that, they are akin to the hedging of the foreign currency receivables. Why? Because here with the sales before is purchases, here sales of the foreign currency forwards. Money market hedging involves, see here, money market hedging involves taking a money market position to hedge the exposure on foreign currency receivables or foreign currency payables. An exporter who wants to hedge receivables in a foreign currency may borrow a certain amount in the currency denominating the receivables. It may be any type of currency according to the country's denominations. Get the foreign currency denominated amount converted into home currency in the spot market and then invested in a period coinciding with the period of receivables. Then the exporter may pay off the foreign currency loan with the receivable amount. It means it involves taking a money market position. Why? Because to minimize the risk on foreign currency receivables or payables. Why? Because an exporter who wants to minimize the receivables or risk in a foreign currency, what they do means they borrow a certain amount in currency which are denominated in receivables, and get that after getting that foreign currency denominated amount, they what they do means they are converted into the home currency in the spot market. Later on they invest in period which they have right time according to the coincidence with the period of the receivables. It means they are just matching receivables equals to payable. Then the exporter pay of the foreign currency loans with the payables. Here already I have said no, they are just had to match it. They are just had to equalize. They are just had to equal. See here, they what they are doing means so that its assets and liabilities will match here. Okay, see here, what are the steps involved? What are the steps involved of money market hedging on receivables can be summed up as follow. First of all, they do means borrow in the foreign currency in which receivables are denominated at the prevailing interest rate. What is it interest rate? It has been denominated. Then they have to convert the borrowed currency to domestic country at the spot bid rate. Then automatically after converting, you should invest at the prevailing interest rate for the period of receivables. Then repay the foreign currency loan amount with the amount receivable through receivables. After receiving, you have to repay the foreign currency loan which the amount receivable realized through receivables. Then automatically realize the maturity value of the investment. These are the very important steps. Note down in your notes. Note down in your notes. Here importers who want to minimize their payables, it means risk, they may borrow at certain amount in their home currency and they convert the amount at the spot rate into currency in which the payables are denominated, and then invest the amount for a period matching the payables items. Here now we have discussed here about regarding the receivables. Now here we can see the steps of the payables. Here we can see the steps of the payables. They borrow if necessary a certain amount in home currency at the prevailing borrowing rate, then buy the foreign currency in which import bills has to be paid at the ask rate. There is an bid rate, here there is an ask rate. Then here invest the proceeds realized above 2 points, that is 1 and 2 at the prevailing lending rate for the period of payables. Then receive the maturity value of the investment. Then automatically pay off the payables denominated in such foreign currency. Then repay the domestic currency debt if any borrowed. Significantly, money market hedging and forward market hedge yield the same results only if and only if interest rate parity holds. There is a small interest rate changes here, remaining all same. In order for the interest rate parity to hold, forward premium or discount should reflect the interest rate difference between two currencies. In such a case, the hedger becomes a indifferent between money market and forward market hedging items here. If the interest rate parity fails to hold, the proceeds from the money market hedge will not be the same as those from forward market hedge. That is here he is saying. In other words, imperfections has been in the money market may make the money market hedging different from the forward market hedging. There is an perfection means no worry. If there is an imperfections means only the money market hedging will be different from the forward market hedging. Transaction cost also yields different results for these two types of hedging results. It means next there is an hedging with currency. There is here we can discuss the currency options. Like here, first of all we should know what is meant by option contracts. It is also a part of the financial derivatives only. Here also options are the contracts. First of all listen the definition, then we can move into the screen part. Here options are the contract in which the investor gets the right to buy or sell the financial instrument at set price on or before at a certain date. However, the investor is not obligated to do so. Here there are mainly two options. It is one is call option, other one is put option. Here call option means he has right to buy. Here put option means right to sell. Nothing but it is an options are the part of the contract here which the investor gets the right to buy or sell the financial instruments at a particular denominated prices before a certain date. However, the investor is not obligated to do so, but there is a chances of unlimited profit or unlimited loss here. Here mainly it has been classified into two types. One is call option, another one is put option. Call option means he has right to buy. Put option means he has right to sell. Okay. Here the main problem with we have to know why we have chosen this type of technique here. The main problem with forward contract and money market hedging that they insulate the exporter or import from adverse exchange rate movements. Yes, it not, but they don't allow the exporter or import to benefit from favorable exchange rate movements. Here, but here, what is the benefit when before the above two contracts means here currency option hedging is a technique that avoids the problem. What it means? It is a contract that gives a here there is no in forward contract there is no chances in order to select the call option or put option, no, but here he has a chances whenever there is an any type of such fluctuations. According to such fluctuations which are beneficiable, he can choose either a call option in order to buy. If there is an any other situation, then he can use the put option to sell items, then to sell a specified currency at a specified rate items. But here before a expiration date, to buy or sell any financial instrument at set prices on before a certain date. Okay, we can see here one of the following example. One of the following example. A firm that wants to protect itself against the appreciation of a foreign currency may buy a call option on the currency. Think that a firm wants to protect itself. The firm is thinking they want to protect against the appreciation of the foreign currency. If the foreign currency appreciation has been occurred means automatically our home currency has been burdened. So in such situation what they do means they will buy a call option. Conversely, a firm wants to protect itself against the depreciation means they will use a put option. An important feature is that there is no obligation here. One important point to note that there is no obligation on the part of the holder of the option contract to buy or sell the stated currency as the at the exercise price. Why? Because if the spot rate of the currency moves against the interest of the option holder, he or she will just let the option contract expire. Why? Because they have chances like call option and put option. Here options used to minimize both receivables and payables in foreign currency. Why? Because a firm that has an obligation to make payments in foreign currency may hedge its payables or foreign currency outflows through buying a call option on the currency in which payables are denominated. By buying a call option, what they do means the firm knows the maximum amount that it has to be paid in home currency. At the same time, they can benefit if the exchange rate ends up below the strike rate means that rate. Similarly, an exporting firm may hedge its receivables also or foreign currency inflows by buying a put option. This will ensure that the minimum quantity of domestic currency is received for foreign currency inflows. At the same time, the exporter may also benefit if the domestic price of the foreign currency becomes higher than the strike rate that is it is. Option contract thus protects the buyer or holder against the adverse exchange rate movements without depriving him the firm of the opportunity. Why? Because the benefit from favorable exchange rate movements. It is the feature which distinguishes the option contracts from forward contracts. Here he has an option, but there is no such type of options in forward and futures as well as in money market hedging. Here another point he is saying that not only exporters and importers but also investors can use the currency option schemes. Why? Because to hedge their transaction exposure, like investors can also hedge their future payments or receipts of funds in foreign currency through buying options. Currency options can also use it to hedge the contingent, means nothing but may or may not happen That is, it means hedge the contingent foreign currency outflows. See here one example. In international bidding, a firm has to pay only if the bid is accepted. In such situation, they can firm. In forward contracts, there is only one option. Here in option contracts, there is a two option. Then he can buy a call option in order to maximum exchange rate, which has to be by the foreign currency, which limits the down risk to call premium in the event bid is not accepted. So currency options can also be effectively used when the amount of foreign currency outflows is uncertain also. Currency options provides firms a flexible means of hedging against the foreign currency exposure. That is saying option strategies like he can use the spreads contracts, straddles and strangles. It means this type of just I am saying here strategies. Whenever in further videos I'll explain what is the mean by spreads, straddles and strangles and exotic options like barrier options, knock in knockout options, range forwards, forward reversing options. All this offer a great opportunities to traders to hedge their transaction exposure. I will explain in any time regarding the option contracts and what are the types of options like exotic options or reversing options in detail. Here next one is final hedging contract is hedging with swap contracts. Swap contract is nothing but here there is an agreement between two parties. Here there is an agreement between two parties in order to exchange the cash flows. It is in order to exchange the cash flows. That is meant by swap contract. Here nothing but it is an agreement between financial exchange of two parties in order to exchange of cash flows between the two parties here. It is saying that in, for example, you can see here the screen part. A swap is an agreement between the two parties to exchange a cash flow in one currency against the cash flow in other currency according to the predetermined terms and conditions. To bid differently in swap agreement requires to a periodic payments from one party in order to other. Why? Because they have in order to safeguard, in order to minimize the risk against the unfavorable exchange rate which has the risk has been occurred. We have to be safe. A firm which expects certain cash flows in foreign currency in the future may enter into a swap contract in order to hedge those cash flows against the foreign exchange rate fluctuations. We can see here the following example. Consider an Indian firm that has a 10-year loan of GBP means Great Britain pounds of 5 millions at an interest rate of 8% per annum. Okay. The interest rate amount has to be paid at the end of each year of the 10-year paid. He is saying to pay his interest rate at the end of each year 8% per annum for a loan of 10-year Great Britain pounds should be paid by the Indian firm. Thus, the Indian firm faces foreign currency exposure. Here, they are facing the foreign exchange risk. In order to how to minimize this type of risk means they then chooses such type of risk. Why? Because the Great Britain pounds currency value is more high when compared to our Indian rupees. So, in order to minimize such type of risk, the firm enters into a swap contract. The firm which receives an amount in Great Britain pounds equivalent to interest payable. See here what he is saying here. They are exchanging. What they are exchanging? For example, I am dealing with Great Britain pounds means they are exchanging their cash flows and with that according to the agreement. So here also same, they in order to after entering this swap agreement they receives the amount of Great Britain pounds equivalent to the interest amount payable for each year for 10 years and also GBP of 5 millions at the end of the 10-year period from the counterparty of the contract. This is against the delivery of a fixed amount of Indian rupees of each year of the 10-year period. So here what they do means the firm will pay a predetermined amount of Indian rupees in each year regardless of future spot rate. In other words, the Indian firm has locked into the amount of Indian rupees the Great Britain payments will convert into a 10 years. Another example I will tell here. It will be more effective. Consider another example in which US based MNC wants to finance its subsidiary in emerging market economic by help of issuing bonds. Instead of issuing bonds in the local currency of the subsidiaries, What they do means it may issue bonds in denominated in US dollars. Why? Because it will be more denominated currency. So they can use the swap contract to convert the payment of interest and principal into relevant local currency. Here, currency swaps are generally used to minimize the long-term transaction exposure. It means, for example, there is a 10 years period or 20 years period, they can use such type of contract, swap contracts in order to minimize risk. In next video, we can discuss about the operational techniques. Don't miss that. Thanks for watching.